Our in-depth scientific discussion holds great importance as we delve into a condition that has experienced tremendous growth in recent years. Allow me to introduce you to nickel allergy, a topic worth immediate attention. I strongly encourage you to watch this video without delay.
Nickel allergy is a common allergic reaction that occurs when certain jewelry, such as rings, bracelets, or earrings, come into contact with the skin, leading to irritation and discomfort. There are different stages of nickel allergy. It is easy to diagnose, certainly with allergy diagnostic tests, by wearing a ring or costume jewelry earring, primarily in women, but also in other instances as well.
Dr. Annalisa Subaci cautions that coming into contact with objects containing nickel may cause the skin to have an allergic reaction. This reaction is a specific response of the skin to the metal when it is exposed. Exposing the skin to nickel increases the possibility of experiencing an allergic reaction.
Yes, certainly this is the easiest way to understand if you have this kind of pathology, but I have to tell you that there are so many people who have metabolic inflammation, and maybe it doesn't express with this problem, contact allergy, but still it creates significant problems for their metabolism.
During our theme presentation tonight, I mentioned that this condition is quite common. I'm curious if there are any estimates available regarding the number of individuals affected by this condition.
Practically, we are talking about 1 in 3 people, so we can no longer talk about the risk of getting sick, but about a real apocalypse, a real degenerative pathology that accompanies the life of the modern being.
Mr. Panzironi, I propose that we proceed to identify the scientifically approved assessments for detecting nickel allergies. To enhance our understanding on the subject, let's take a moment to watch this informative video.
The diagnostic test exclusively employs the delayed reading epicutaneous test, also referred to as the patch test. An extensive array of 30 to 40 haptines is generally utilized for testing, among which NEC is the only haptine substance examined. These haptines are positioned on the upper dorsal surface, and the initial reading can be taken after a period of 48 to 72 hours. In cases that are uncertain, a second reading can be conducted. Throughout the test period, lasting for 48 to 72 hours, the patient is advised to refrain from bathing, showering, participating in sports activities, or making sudden movements that may lead to sweating. These precautions are necessary to prevent the detachment of the patch, which could invalidate the test. Allergists and dermatologists, being the qualified professionals for this procedure, are capable of performing the epicutaneous test.
It has been stated that the only test that has been verified is the patch test. The doctor mentioned in the video that this test involves applying patches to the dorsal surface, specifically the shoulders, and observing the reaction over the course of the next 72 hours.
It is commonly referred to as an allergy, but it does not react in the typical manner to allergens. Instead, it exhibits a different response, known as Th2 and reverse response. This peculiar reaction requires up to 72 hours, as the lymphocytes that come into contact with these nickel particles must migrate to the lymph nodes. Therefore, the immune response takes several hours to occur. After 72 hours, the reaction intensifies, resulting in contact dermatitis.
Speaking of contact dermatitis, nickel allergy can be caused not just by direct contact with nickel, but also by certain food items when ingested. It's important to note that reactions can occur through consumption as well. Official medicine recommends understanding the preventive measures for this disease. Let's delve into what these prevention techniques entail.
Exercise caution, as nickel allergy has now been found to also include certain foods. There are numerous food items that have elevated levels of nickel, including tomatoes and canned tomatoes. It is important to be aware of this. All sausages. So those who have nickel issues today are developing an intolerance and intoxication to certain foods that contain nickel. Unfortunately, the foods are so many, and because of their intake even of tomatoes, for example in winter, when tomatoes don't grow, we might have problems related, for example, to the intestines with discharges of diarrhea, or on the other side with constipation. However, it is possible that we may experience various skin problems such as skin issues, rashes, spots, or even psoriasis. All can be linked to the conversation about nickel's own properties. Please exercise caution, as gluten allergy is often confused with nickel allergy. While one cannot fully recover from a nickel allergy, maintaining a nutritious diet can significantly improve the condition.
It was Dr. Annalisa Subaki, once again, who informed us that nickel allergy is not limited to dermatological reactions, but can also lead to changes in metabolism. Therefore, it is crucial to pay attention not just to what you apply on your skin, but also to what you consume.
Can I say that the situation remains unchanged even when it comes to common allergies or nickel allergies? What does traditional medicine do in these cases? It typically prescribes an elimination diet. This means that patients are advised to avoid consuming foods that could potentially worsen their symptoms due to certain molecules in their metabolism. However, I have to admit that despite this dietary guidance, there are still roughly 20 million Italians who continue to suffer from these conditions. In light of this, it is critical for us to acknowledge that traditional medicine has not made any significant progress in understanding and treating these disorders. Also because nickel is abundant, widely present in our environment, and can even be found in most foods, albeit in small quantities. However, it is impractical to rely solely on food to completely avoid nickel due to its pervasive existence. Thus, considering the widespread presence of nickel, eliminating it from our diet is not a feasible option to consider.
If we are unable to find a solution by eliminating these specific foods that clearly contain nickel, where else can we discover a resolution that addresses this issue?
By simply eliminating the foods that play a major role in causing this condition, specifically those foods commonly found in the Mediterranean diet, such as bread, pasta, pizza, potatoes, rice, and legumes, we can significantly reduce the incidence of nickel allergy. This will ultimately help alleviate the symptoms associated with this pathology.
Mr. Panzironi, it would be greatly appreciated if you could verify your statement for us. Our aim is to comprehensively comprehend the true causes of nickel allergies. As a result, you've graciously prepared a tutorial that we intend to disseminate among our audience.
Nickel can enter the body through the skin or by being ingested. When it comes into contact with the skin, nickel normally cannot pass through the underlying layers and interact with immune cells, thanks to the protective barrier of the skin. However, deficiencies in a protein called filaggrin, which binds to keratin fibers in the skin, can lead to the passage of nickel through the skin. This allows nickel to come into contact with a specific type of immune cell called Langerhans cells. These cells then migrate into the lymph nodes, triggering a Th1 type immune response. When we consume food containing nickel, especially if we have leaky gut syndrome, the ingested nickel can come into contact with the already hyperactivated Th1 lymphocytes due to previous skin contact, or it can even stimulate these cells for the first time.
The video provided extensive information by explaining that when the protein filaggrin is lacking, the dermis is unable to effectively prevent contact between nickel and lymphocytes, impairing its protective function. Filaggrin is crucial for this protective role.
Yes, these scientific studies indicate that filaggrin is a crucial protein utilized by keratinocytes specifically to construct the collagen strings. These collagen strings serve as the foundation for the formation of the extracellular matrix found in the dermis. Therefore, when there is a deficiency of filaggrin, it essentially impacts the bacteria that reside on the skin surface. The substances that come in contact with nickel bring this metal into the dermis, causing an immune reaction in the THI system. The dermis is affected by these substances, resulting in an immune response.
But then what does this alteration of filaggrin depend on?
It depends on various factors. First of all, it depends on a vitamin D deficiency, and then when there is systemic inflammation of the skin, there are several studies that confirm how inflammatory factors such as NF-κB that are elements that lead to excessive. The reason behind inflammation is the overexpression of insulin. Insulin is essentially responsible for this overexpression. Additionally, there are other significant factors such as 38-MPK. This substance is stimulated by excessive blood glucose, which implies that the Mediterranean diet exacerbates both glucose levels and ultimately leads to the overexpression of insulin contributes significantly to this pathology by increasing its levels beyond normal.
So, practically, Mr. Panzironi, it is these insulin-rich carbohydrate foods that are responsible for nickel allergy.
Indeed, these foods are the ones that we subsequently discover also have an impact on our digestive system. We have explained very often that the responsibility for causing leaky gut syndrome lies with certain agents. Excessive drippy bowel syndrome leading to uncontrollable symptoms. Activation of the immune system, because the presence of nickel in food can impact the lymphocytes of both the Th1 and Th17 systems, resulting in an increase in their activity. Additionally, it is frequently observed that this type of diet leads to changes in cortisol levels, which consequently affect our immune system. These factors collectively contribute to the development of a nickel allergy when following the Mediterranean diet. Overall, the connection between nickel, lymphocytes, cortisol, and the immune system plays a crucial role in the manifestation of a nickel allergy within the context of this dietary pattern.
So, Mr. Panzironi, thank you for that explanation. Now, I would like to bring in here in the studio a person, a witness, who will come and tell us how she solved her nickel allergy thanks to the Life 120 lifestyle devised by you. So I would like to invite Mrs. Ilaria Bianchini from Rome here on our chair. Good evening. Welcome. Please take a seat. So, Ms. Bianchini, let's start talking about this nickel allergy right away. First of all, when did you discover it?
It was 2003.
So about 16 years ago?
16 years ago, yes.
How did you find out about it? What kind of reaction did you have?
At the time I was working at the family business, a grocery store, and I was at the bread counter, so with flours.
And so working with bread, what kind of problems did you have? Mostly, so I guess in my hands.
Upon observing my hands, I became aware of rashes and wounds causing bleeding. Additionally, the skin on my hands started to peel off, which urged me to seek medical attention.
Obviously worried about this kind of reaction, she goes to do a test. She does this patch test, the 72 hours. When did she do them, and what happened with these 72 hours of patch application?
In the evening already, I had severe burning.
So they applied these patches to her?
These patches behind her shoulders.
And so she had these just pains.
When I returned to the doctor, I had a severe rash in addition to pains and a burning sensation. In fact, it was quite bad.
In addition to this type of reaction, the allergy typically caused her various other problems as well. For instance, we were informed that it also resulted in issues with her intestines.
Yes, a lot. And I had problems almost every day, intestinal problems.
Yes, what kind? He had, I don't know, colic.
Colic, yes, in the morning, maybe 3 or 4 times in the bathroom.
He was too scared to leave home due to this kind of problem, fearing that it may happen again, resulting in his unease.
Fear that when I had to go out somewhere in particular, I would prevent with Imodium tablets.
He didn't know where to go. So at that point, he was blocking the gut reaction. Look, in addition to that, she also had other kinds of issues, like, I don't know, she was feeling tired.
Always chronic fatigue, yes.
I am confident that the doctors you consulted with indeed prescribed a nickel-free diet. In other words, it was completely devoid of nickel, making it highly suitable for your condition.
They called for the elimination of nuts.
Dried fruits.
Vegetables. All those containing iron, spinach, asparagus, artichokes, tomatoes in the first place. And they gave me rice flour mostly.
So even the flours were taken out?
At will, in short.
I think you have managed to solve your problem by incorporating this type of nutrition, haven't you?
No, nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
I did it for some time, however, then I resigned myself because I saw that the improvements were not there.
Yes, I believe you consulted both allergists and dermatologists, correct? Specifically, dermatologists were the ones who provided guidance on managing and coping with this particular condition, allowing you to maintain a normal lifestyle despite the presence of the pathology.
They always told me to continue this diet. Then they also gave me some pills, really, some medications that, however, no.
That they helped?
Rather, they gave me other problems.
Even?
They were giving me nausea, all these things like that.
Then you became acquainted with the Life 120 lifestyle. When did this happen and how did it happen?
It came through my father. He started a month before me, insisted, told me, Ilaria, try. Finally, I said, okay, I'll try.
It happened?
It is the 19th of February, 2019 now, 3
months ago, just 3 months ago. Look, you start on the 19th of February, and after how long did you have the first improvements, or anyway, did you see something change?
But almost immediately, after 15, 20 days maximum.
So we obviously see that your hands, they don't have rashes anymore. Have you solved the intestinal problems? Everything regular.
Yes, nothing. There is nothing left.
Then I saw that you were showing me some beautiful jewelry.
Yes, that I now wear, which is neither white gold nor yellow gold, I can wear.
You can now safely carry nickel-containing metals that previously caused you problems, as they have been redesigned for improved safety. You also told us about chronic fatigue.
Chronic fatigue. I would get up in the morning just tired.
And adesso?
There is no more, nothing.
One last question, Miss Salaria. Will you have eaten back foods that you were forbidden to eat? For example,
Tomatoes.
do you eat them safely?
I eat them, cut them in quantity. Yes.
Do not mention any issues related to the skin or the digestive system.
Nothing is no
Perfect.
longer there.
So I thank Ms. Bianchini for being here with us and telling us about her journey. Thanks to Lifestyle Life 120 of resolving her nickel allergy.